Hello, my name's David. We're playing GTA 5 Enhanced Edition today. So, let's get going. Let's have a look. So, got a new PC and we're playing in 4K, 60 FPS. And I've gone into the options and everything I can turn up to max I have done. So, we got a fairly hefty PC here, so we're at absolute max everything settings and it's running beautifully. Really pleased, really super pleased. So yeah, it's been a while since I've done a video in GTA 5. Lots of other games, most recently Death Stranding 2 has been keeping me hooked. Man, that game looks amazing, really good. But today, back in GTA, appropriately enough, because I wanted to sort of answer a question that I get asked an awful lot, and I think this might be quite handy that I can just point people to, really. So I'll try to be succinct, although that's not my usual style, is it? I like a digression. But yeah, the question you may ask, what is the question I get asked a lot? The question I get asked a lot is, why did I leave Rockstar Games? And I suppose, yeah, it's a good question, isn't it, really? Because on the face of it, it's like, you know, game developer working at Rockstar Games. Why would you leave there? Why would you leave there for some unknown fate? Oh. So, let's just saunter around here. I brought us to the golf course because this kind of ties into the question. Appropriately enough, can I go in? No, I can't go in. I'll go around the side. But yeah, because currently I work on a golf simulation product, and I'll sort of maybe go into that a little bit more. But yeah, you know, why would I leave Rockstar Games for a golf simulation product? And here we are on a nice golf course as well, which is rather nice. I remember that being made. They did a great job. Well done. Lovely. So, yeah, I mean, why did I leave? Well, I've been at Rockstar 12 years. And I'd worked on GTA 5. I'd worked on RDR 2. And quite a bit of time on GTA 6. So, in a nutshell, I'd pretty much ticked my boxes, really. You know, that was my, you know, if I could have picked on any games to work on, it would probably have been, you know, those games. You know, if it wasn't those games, it might have been something like Elder Scrolls or The Witcher or something like that, you know. But yeah, those three, or maybe an Assassin's Creed game, something like that, something open worldy, you know, something with a lot of landscape and things. But yeah, it was those three, and what a three. Yeah, I mean, I count myself like amazingly fortunate to have done that. I mean, it's like, it's pretty much like winning the lottery, hitting the jackpot, all of those things. And yeah, wow, I'm so sort of pleased and thankful. I don't kid myself, it's not so much that I'm sort of a hotshot mega developer, you know. It's not that. What I will say is I'm good at art. That's probably one of the only things that I'm really good at. That's my thing. The computer side of it, I think a lot of my friends might tell you that I'm somewhat technically inept. You know, certainly my colleagues at Rockstar might sort of have a chuckle, you know, thinking of me on the, you know, the more techie side of the Rage engine and stuff. That's not my forte at all. And, you know, indeed, I've never quite got over the fact that I don't have an IT department at home when I have a computer problem. Because when a computer goes wrong, my initial impulse is like, oh, message IT. Oh, no. Oh, I'm IT department when I'm at home, aren't I? And that sucks because I cannot stand that sort of stuff, you know. I'm just not interested. As soon as the computer has a problem, I'm not interested. I'm like, oh god, give me a pencil, give me my paintbrush. It's just so tiresome. But I've been very fortunate. I've put myself in readiness to receive luck my whole career. You know, I think to get lucky, you've got to put yourself in a position where that luck can find you. And so that has been a certain skill of mine, I would certainly say, because luck has found me quite a few times in my career, even going back to Traveller's Tales. You know, I somehow managed to bag a programming job at Traveller's Tales, despite being not that great at programming, really. I achieved that through sheer hard work and dedication, and no small amount of desperation as well, because I went back to university at 28. I'd been bumming around for like, you know, 10 or 11 years after school, having no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And I eventually realized that if I have to work for the bulk of my life, then it's, you know, it's got to be bearable, isn't it? I've got to get a job that's as close to a hobby as possible. And that was my goal at 28. I kind of realized, hang on, I've got to do something here. So I went back to university. And I'd always loved games, and that was the sort of thing I wanted to do, you know. And it's as close as a hobby job as you can get, I suppose. So yeah, working on these games is fantastic, and I'm, you know, really grateful, really grateful. But after 12 years, and having achieved essentially the goals that I wanted to do with games development, you know, you've got to sort of think, what's the next step, haven't you? What's the next step? Where you gonna, you know, what am I gonna do? And after 12 years, I was kind of thinking, it's probably time to get out of my comfort zone and do something different. I wasn't really quite sure what that was. I know that the pandemic had come and gone, and working from home had become a thing, of which, you know, the benefits were very apparent to me. It had opened my eyes that work wasn't just sitting in an office. Work could be anywhere in the world if you had a computer. Work could be from home. Work could sit alongside family life a lot easier. And also, it was just time for a change, new things. And as I say, getting out of the comfort zone is a big deal. And I think after 12 years, I was very much nestled in Rockstar and in my comfort zone. And I wasn't growing. So I came to the realization that, well, you know, I'd quite like to just have a mid-career break, really, a sort of a breather, you know, just because you've got to sometimes just sort of stop and take stock of things, and, you know, just sort of have a listen to what your own brain is telling you, you know, because when you're just on the grind and you just, you know, day to day and life's just going by, and a lot of time you're not really stopping to listen to yourself. And I think that your subconscious has many ways to let you know when it needs a change. And so I left Rockstar and I took a year out, essentially, and it was a kind of like a way to just sort of reconnect with myself and what I wanted to do for the next stage in life, really. And so yeah, that year was invaluable. You know, I was lucky that I could do that. My wife, she was working full time, so she was able to take on the burden of that. And I brought in a little bit of money teaching art. I was teaching yoga. Not really bringing that much money in, if I'm honest, you know. It was a bit of a year of like, not much, no holidays, no, you know, no big spends like that. It was just be a bit frugal and take a breather. And I did that a lot. I took the space for myself. And at the end of that year, I was in a good position knowing what I wanted to do. You know, I knew that I still wanted to do 3D. I still loved working on 3D stuff. I still loved making landscapes and 3D modeling, stuff like that. And so I was just having a cast around. I knew that I didn't want to go back to an office, because having that time, and, you know, I have a 9-year-old son, and at the time he was 7, and getting to spend that time with him that I wouldn't have done if I'd have been just doing the regular job and working in the office. So much stuff I would have missed out. And I probably got to spend probably twice the amount of time with him than I would have otherwise. And whoops, a daisy. Who left that there? Oh, never mind. Didn't see that. And that, I mean, you can't put a price on that. That, to me, that time is never coming back. And no career is better than that time. That, to me, is far more important. So I was like, yeah, I'm working from home from now. I'm not going back to an office. No way. It's just not happening. So I was kind of, again, I was in a position that luck could find me, because I then got a job at my place where I work now, which is, yeah, this is why I'm at the golf course, if I hadn't explained that adequately. But yeah, we make an AR, augmented reality golf simulator, which will capture all the data from when you hit the golf ball with your stick, and it will capture radar data, photographic data, infrared data, all the data about impact and spin and everything on the ball. And then it pipes that into the simulator. So then we take that data and the ball will behave appropriately based on how you've hit the ball. And I make the environments for it. So I make the courses, I make the buildings, I make the scenery, I make the trees, I make any vehicles, I make everything. I'm the only artist. So anything that you see on the golf course is what I've made. And what I love about it is that I get to work from home. It's a small team, so we're all very close knit. There's only about 13 of us, and I am the lord of my domain. So I do everything art-wise. So I am 3D modeler, I'm level design, I'm art director, I'm props, I'm foliage, I'm architecture. I basically make everything, and I'm my own department. So what I say goes in terms of making the visual look of the game. So that to me is brilliant. You know, I mean, that's a sort of bucket list tick off right there. You know, and it's a different type of challenge from working in a big team in a games company to very small team, but being my own boss essentially. It's got a very much sort of, you know, being your own boss sort of vibe. You know, we've got to be proactive, we've got to sort of get the job done. Basically, I can't slack off, because if I don't make a thing, it doesn't get made, you know. So, you know, and I love that. I thrive on that, because, you know, I just get to do it all. And so it's a perfect complement to have the career I've had up until that point. And then this is a completely different side of development. And it's not so much a game, it's a simulator. So it's for really keen golfers. It's for people who love their golf and they have a home setup. Or you could be playing it at a golf range. There's a lot of golf ranges that have this golf sim integrated into it. So, you know, that's a bit about like me and why I left Rockstar and what I left Rockstar for. And maybe that gives you a bit more of insight into why, and maybe it makes a bit more sense as to why I left Rockstar too. And I suppose if I was to summarize it all, it's that, well, I'd achieved my goals by working on the games I did, and I was able to fashion my own career in a direction that allowed me to sort of maximize time with family, which, you know, at the end of the day, family is far more important than a career and a job to me. Ideally, you want both, don't you, to be cool and very satisfying. But when my son's grown up, I'm not going to feel any guilt that I wasn't there, that I was working, you know, that I was in the office. I'm going to be as satisfied as I can be that I spent as much time there in these younger years of him as I could. So, yeah, and that makes me very happy. That's cool. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. So, yeah, hopefully that clears that up. And for all future questions of why did you leave Rockstar, I'll direct people to this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon in other videos. So take it easy. Bye.